Hello, this is Arthur again. Today we're going to take a look at this 2003 Volkswagen GTi 1.8 turbo. This car is 107,000 miles. It's automatic. It came here with a tow truck because it had a no start condition. It would crank, but it wouldn't crank over. And when it got towed over last night, I checked a few things and I found what the problem is. So I'm going to show you what I found, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to repair it. And then we're going to show you some of the process as well. Okay, let's take a quick look around the car. This one, as I mentioned, has 107,000 miles. I've worked on this car a few times before. I did a timing belt and a few other things on it. So overall, it's in pretty good shape. It's a little dirty, but usually it's fairly clean. I think it's been sitting for a few days since it wasn't starting. The owner is a friend of mine. I usually don't take this older models too much. This is a friend of mine, so I took this car. Has a couple of little scratches here and there, but it's actually, once it's washed, it's in pretty good shape. These are fairly fun to drive, especially with manual. This one being automatic, it's a little bit less desirable version of these cars, but still a pretty fun little car to drive. For its time especially, it had a pretty nice performance, and packaging overall was good too. Nice materials for the time and good design. Okay, let's look at the problem area. Okay, when this car came in, the first thing I suspected was it's not getting any fuel, because it would crank, and nothing was happening. And when the car doesn't get fuel, typically, first thing you want to check is fuel pump, especially on an older car like this. It does go out often. And this one being fairly accessible, that's what I did. The seat just lifts up and moves forward, and then you have access to this cover over here that is held with 3 Phillips screws. Then you can take it out and you have access to your fuel pump. And this line is the one that is the output line, and it goes towards the engine. When I removed it, initially it didn't have any pressure in it, and it made me believe that this pump is not turning on. And when I tried to key cycle it, I could feel that it's not coming on. I did remove the pump and I applied power directly to the motor, and it actually was working. So I decided to put it back, and the car starts now and it runs. I think what happened is the motor is going bad and it got froze at a certain position and it wouldn't work. So I'm gonna take it off and put a new pump, and I'll test it again, and that should be that for this. To remove it, you gotta open this ring, undo this clip, this hoses, and it should come off. I'm gonna do that now. Okay, the first thing I have is a rug to cover this connection where I'm going to remove this pipe. There's a little clip on it, you push on it, and some fuel is going to shoot out since the car ran not that long ago. I'm gonna cover it with a rug. Not that much fuel because it ran about an hour ago or so. And you move this to the side, as well as this one. This one shouldn't have much pressure in it since it's the return line. And then you got this connector here with the funky Volkswagen clips that either are easy to disengage or don't want to come off at all. Kind of have to press on it a little bit, or try to use a pick tool. There you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and undo this ring. A few taps should get loose. There you go. I didn't tighten it too much previously because I knew I was going to take it out again, most likely. And then on these, there's nothing else to disconnect from the inside. You just gotta straight pull it out. And then you wanna see the position. There's an arrow over here that faces towards the front of the vehicle. So you pull this one out, and there's gonna be a pretty good amount of fuel in there. Gotta let it drain. And then you're gonna get a pan and drop it in there to avoid to get too much fuel in the car. Oops. There you go. Going to get my rug and wipe off over here a little bit. Try not to get any dirt inside the tank. And wipe from in to out or side to side, but not towards the tank. Alright, now gonna go and look at the pump. Okay, here's the old pump with the gasket. Still some gas in it. Gonna let it drain. There are two variations that this pumps come in on this car. There are two different sizes, 122 millimeter outside diameter and 137. This one is the smaller one, I believe. This is the part. It's the part number from O'Reilly. Kind of short notice for this repair. Don't really have too much time to wait for new parts online. Try to make sure the pump stays clean. Don't want any dirt, and you gotta look over it, see if there's anything else you need to transfer from the old pump. This is the level sensor. Gotta make sure you take this bag out off of it, and you gotta make sure not to bend this arm, since you will have issues with level, showing the level. And you got two covers right here. You gotta make sure the connection is the same, which it is. Okay, now let's go back to the car and install this in the car. Okay, now next step is gonna make some room over here. Move this to the side and slide in the pump nicely, making sure it doesn't get hung up on anything. The arm, the floating arm, and you get your direction that you're gonna go in with the arrow facing forward. You're gonna move these lines out carefully without trying not to break them. Now when you reach the bottom, there's gonna be a part where the gasket has to slide in, and you have to make sure it goes in nicely. So unfortunately, the gasket that came with the new pump doesn't look like it's the right size. It's small. I'm going to have to reuse the original one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it sit on the tank first. The problem sometimes when you get aftermarket parts, stuff doesn't fit as well as it should. But it's been a weekend, kind of short notice, not too many options. Let's get this in. Pump is in. Hold it down, put the ring around it. Hammer it in a little bit. Good. Wipe around. We'll check for leaks after. Make sure nothing's leaking. Now this black one goes towards the back of the car. The blue one goes the forward side. Okay, everything is in. Now we're gonna try to crank it and watch for leaks. First crank, usually my car might die off a little bit. It seems to be okay. Looking for any leaks. Don't see any. Okay, looks pretty good to me. Now we're gonna go ahead and install this cover, put the bolts in, then we'll take it for a test drive, and this should be it for this one. Okay, so the fuel pump was bad on this car. I replaced it, it's running, and that should be it. Please comment, like, and subscribe. There are more videos to come.